from the heart of Dubai, where tomorrow is being built today, to the world. Welcome to the CTO Show with Mehmet. Here, we redefine technology and reimagine possibilities. With Mehmet, delve into the riveting realms of AI, cybersecurity, and digital technology. Experience the thrilling highs and lows of startups. Immerse yourself in the spirit of entrepreneurship and witness the future of business innovation being written in real time. Now, without further ado, let's tune in and explore the future.
Hello and welcome back to a new episode of the CTO Show with Mehmet. Today I'm very pleased joining me, the founders of DXwand, both Ahmed and Ahmed. The way I love to do it, guys, as I was explaining to you, I keep it to you to just, introduce yourselves, like tell us a little bit more about you, your journey. And of course, we're going to later on talk about DXwand more in details. So I don't know, Ahmed, any Ahmed can start. so, so, so I gotta call Ahmed the CEO and Ahmed the CTO, so we can make the difference between you. So Ahmed the CEO, if I start with you.
Okay. Thank you, Mehmet, for this show. I'm Ahmed Mahmoud, DXwand founder, father of 5 for amazing daughters and 1 son. And I come from technology background and then enterprise sales. I worked for around 21 years in my career in several corporates. I ended in Microsoft for 7 years and then discovered some gap, worked on it, and then started DXwand.
Great, and thank you for being with us here today. So Ahmed the CTO, now it's your turn.
Yeah, my name is Ahmed Elshahawy. Started my career 20 years ago in IBM. So I was doing solution architecture, delivery management, and pre-sales across different practices. That was in Egypt until 2015, where I moved to Malaysia and joined also leadership roles in data and analytics, especially in Ernst & Young and other startups. And a couple of years ago, I joined DXwand. And I was lucky enough to join in the beginning of the advancement of the generative AI technology to build our platform orchestra. Yeah.
Great, and thank you again, both of you, for being here with me today. We share like similar background also as well. So I've worked like with a couple of like the big names in sales and pre-sales. So we share a lot, and I think this will be a great discussion. Now, anytime I have with me founder or founders of a company or a startup, the question I'm curious about is what kind of missings or gaps, let's say, in the market you spotted, and then you said, you know what, like no one is solving this, no one is maybe talking much about it, and now it's the time to start this company. So what was the story for you to start DXwand? Like, and I would love to hear it like from both of you, honestly. So maybe Ahmed, you start first, and then you can hear it from Ahmed.
Well, started in 2017. By the way, whatever we used to do in that time is not actually what we're doing now. We pivot a lot. But at that time, I was in Microsoft, and the conversational AI started to be commercial and available to several organizations. While they were all excited, but the support, even the basic support of the regional requirements, which part of it is the Arabic language, and then the dialect support, and then the culture support was not there at all. And that provided for them like feeling like they are left behind, but it shows to me that there is a gap here. So they started to validate that. I joined, I come from corporate work, so I didn't work in startups before, so I'd like always to learn. So I joined an accelerator, and where I started to learn how to turn an idea into a business, where we started actually to focus on smaller businesses at that time. to help them to get such technology in the region for the languages that or the dialects that's spoken in this region to maximize sales and customer retention, which we started to sign. And then I got a leap of faith and resigned. But at that time, this is what we were focused on: is providing conversational AI solutions for specifically small businesses. And we end up today having a GenTech platform, Orchestra, for enterprises, corporates, and also sometimes small businesses.
Great. Ahmed, for you, like, like maybe you joined later as I understood, but what attracted you to join DXwand?
Yeah, it's the generative AI advancement, right? It's for me, I've been working in predictive analytics, which relates to data science and AI, but it's a whole new giant, the generative AI paradigm, and I love building things. So DXwand was trying to start a new paradigm in generative AI, and just had a great chance to excel in the early wave and resolve the real problem of generative AI at that time, where even the frontier models was not performing as expected for most of the clients. Just getting a demo to work or a POC was a nightmare in the early days. Now it's maybe it's different, but to build an entire production grade, enterprise level working capability with generative AI, which is a new technology, it's very exciting. And just I took up the role, and we built something amazing.
That's great. Now, one thing, Ahmed, you mentioned about the pivot, and I think this is something common, right? And it's not like something wrong. Actually, I tell sometimes people, like, if you're not seeing results and you keep doing what you're doing, you are probably on the wrong path. So pivoting is like something, in my opinion, very natural, especially when a technology like generative AI comes into the picture and it changed everything. Now, what I'm interested, to hear from you, Ahmed, like the moment you started to see, like, yeah, like this generative AI is really something which is not like will pass quickly. No, it's a new, I would say, path for companies to follow. Like, how does this affected, maybe the company mission, maybe also your roadmaps? Like, I would love to hear from both of you, but Ahmed, because you founded the company, when I would not say like AI wasn't there. AI has been always with us, but I mean this rapid evolution. So how this affected, your vision and mission for the company?
Yeah, sure. So DXwand was always thinking as a mission that we want to empower businesses, regardless of their size, to grow, and we need to be a growth partner. So this is, I would say, a mission that we worked on for quite far, and we didn't change it, I would say, per se, but we have seen the impact of the hype as a change of our paradigm that everyone would want and will use AI eventually. And the businesses need to see how that would benefit them. And then we get some more focus on how we can enable the businesses to grow with AI and how to make this artificial intelligence that is very complicated, whatever needed to get this really into a business scenario, how to make that easy, how to make that enabled for any business of any size to be able to be empowered and to grow. So I wouldn't say we changed the mission, but we tweaked it a bit to get a bold message of AI will be there for any business all the time from
Right.
now on.
Absolutely. Ahmed, for you as a CTO, um, you've been working in data analytics and predictive AI and all this. So for you, the moment you saw the new wave, I would say, of Gen AI, like, what was your reaction and how you started to think, okay, oh my God, like this is, we can apply this use case here and it will, solve these issues for us. I would love to hear, the technical, the technology side of the story, when it comes to, the rise of Gen AI and shaping, the company and where you are today.
Yeah, first things where we just started trying the technology and see the trying to reach the limits of the technology and extending the use cases from the common chatbot scenarios and see what else we can do. So just trying to understand the boundaries of the technology and to keep pushing there. So we can resolve real world problems rather than sticking to legacy technology. And at that moment, I just starting using, like, at that point, what the ChatGPT 3.5. The model was not that advanced, but just the concept of providing a prompt to a model which can do a lot of stuff, including coding and building even diagrams and um, uh, uh, business flow optimization, basic stuff. It was just testing the limits of this model at that time. It was very promising until ChatGPT 4 was released, and we had a huge hike in performance, which then opened the doors to huge use cases. And then I discussed with Ahmed and the team in DXwand, MG, the co-founder as well, that what are the potential use cases we can cover. And DXwand was working on a technology of knowledge discovery prior to generative AI, and it was very technically challenging to get it right. With generative AI, it's just going to an entirely new paradigm where you can present the real world um, knowledge in knowledge graphs and combining this with the intelligence of the large language models, and that's just opening the limits to the sky, where you can actually combine the data of the organization with the intelligence of the model to cover many use cases. So we took it from there to build a platform that we can actually cover significant critical use cases in the industry, starting from customer service chatbot, sales assistant, internal employee support, even document parsing and intelligence, and validating legal documents, doing a lot of use cases for the enterprises. And surprisingly, it was very robust compared to um, the infancy stage of the technology, where, typically when a new technology arises, the early versions is very primitive. Just after ChatGPT 4, everything was skyrocketing, and frontier models was just getting better and cheaper every day, opening the skies to a lot of use cases. So since then, we have been working with lots of corporations on different use cases.
Great. Now, talking about use cases, and maybe Ahmed, you can, because you started it like 2017, the company, and you, of course, like you pivoted later, but and there must be like some sweet spots, I would say, which when we talk to founders, usually you go and try different approaches, right? And you try like different ICPs, let's put it this way. And always this is very healthy because, as Steve Blank always say, we have to go out of the building and start to see where our messaging will be resonating. So for you, I'm interested, from early stages, from business perspective, like what is the moment that the customer say, hey, stop. Like, I need this now. Like, you are solving my biggest pain ever from business perspective. So I gotta start with you, Ahmed, and then I gotta go to Ahmed from the technical perspective and ask him about, what technical pains you might be also solving. So, but Ahmed, let's start with the business use cases, like which industries and how this also evolved with time.
Sure. Well, as I told you, when we started, we were selling to tiny businesses. This moment comes with when we started with what they call one person businesses, like a person, an expert in something, like professional photographer or someone does custom cakes or whatever this kind of small and tiny businesses is. It was that moment when, because the business is all about your expertise. So the time you spend to build the things is the time you get monetized. And then if you spend half of this time just to interact with clients for very trivial tasks, then your income will go down. So that was I would say the pivot, the solid one that we worked on very well. And however, when you move forward into the scale of that, it was very early technology. So a lot of customers were very, I would say, visionary and risk takers. Let's do that. Others were shying away. And then there was a lot of educational activities that we need to do, which economically wouldn't make sense because the ticket size for a smaller business is very small. So we had at that time to think about other use cases that we can do with the same technology or a bit of evolution to pivot for bigger businesses, which we started. One of the cases that I would say, I'm very proud of and actually feel the impact that we have done is doing this for customer support for sophisticated cases for financial services, mainly trading platforms. We had several clients, big clients in the region that depend on that for now 40 years on providing support to traders on the market sentiment, details of each and every stock, IPOs, and so on. So that was a nightmare that impacted many businesses in this field of financial services on their productivity, efficiency, ability actually to serve. And we're very glad that we helped several companies of this. One of them is actually a 4-year client that evolved their business from 3,000 customers to nearly 100,000 customers without adding a single agent to the customer service. And because they have a huge volume of conversations that are handled with our agents, that was a great impact that I have seen with this ICP. And we started also pivoting more to see more cases, and we're trying to diversify what we do. We're doing this for education, for example. Recently, the past week, Ministry of Education in Kuwait launched their agent for students and teachers that helps them, I would say, have some personalized learning in their own pace and provide educational support. That was like a great moment for us in seeing an impact on a nationwide and education sector, which is something that impacts nations in general. So yeah, I give you a lot of unstructured, but that's a lot of moments that happened there.
Great. Ahmed, like, what's, from your perspective, like, I always say the technologist has also his own view on how the technology that you offer might affect the business. Because, and the main reason, by the way, this show is called the CTO, because I believe, the CTO is the person who bridges both sides, the technology with the business and in this role. So from your perspective, when sometimes I'm sure like you go talk to customers also as well. So what you see, like, some of the use cases from technology perspective more than, just, business outcomes.
Yeah, so basically we're trying to explore what is beyond standard chatbot, right? So in the initial days, so like we just nailed the chatbot so for support and sales support, and the conversational AI itself, we just nailed this very early. But then there's significant use cases that was very compelling to explore, and that is working with documents and large knowledge bases, and how to build indexes in a smart way to get deeper insights from documents and knowledge that was not possible prior to generative AI. So in predictive analytics or any data analysis technology, typically it's working with structured data and unstructured data as well, but not in an intelligent way. So just getting the insights of the relationships between the data across thousands of documents, representing this in a rationally sensible way, and combining this with the intelligence of the AI for use cases like you have like thousands of documents in your organization. You want to stay compliant. You don't want to have this discrepancy in compliance in any document, in contract, in employee contract, for example, GDPR or any regulatory compliance. That it takes like thousands of hours and investment from different departments in any enterprise to get it done right. So getting the intelligence of generative AI to resolve this was really mind blowing. And it also was very interesting from technology point of view to get it done right. Using the generative AI to extract the relation between content in wide range of documents um, and just use this intelligently on enterprise scale. This was very fulfilling when we were building this. So document intelligence, as we call it, was the most predominant after the standard chatbots.
Right. Now, one thing, and because just Ahmed mentioned about, the work in education and in different countries also as well. So we know in MENA region, if we want just to look at the MENA region, so we have like mainly the native language is Arabic, and of course like the business language is English, but within Arabic also as well, like, and I've seen it, both we come, all of us, we come, from this background where we have to respond to RFPs and we have to, sometimes the specs are written in Arabic, but again, you see the Arabic used is not always the same. And when it comes, for example, to support agents, again, you have the dialect and you have all these challenges. So I'm interested, and both of you, like, feel free, like, to answer this one because it's like not only technical, I think also from business perspective is important. So how this was a challenge for you, like, or is it like something that you knew before and then you designed and you decided also to go to market, saying like, hey, like we have this multilingual, multi-dialect capabilities in our product?
Well, getting into multi-dialect was something we much aware of before launching to clients because, for example, I used to live in several Gulf countries. So living there is more of a global community and you understand and see a lot of dialects going there. And if you're providing customer service to that, you don't expect people to call McDonald's or contact McDonald's and say in a formal Arabic what you want. So it's an initial expectation that customers to provide an intuitive experience, you need to speak and understand the language, regardless what it is that those are using. And that was the first initial, even at 2018, I would say, quest that we put to differentiate what we offer and to work with that. Regarding the generative AI now helps a lot in this, but at that time, it was very hard. So we had to work on several data sets to enable some labeling for our models to work well in several dialects. And from a product go-to-market, we had to be a bit more focused on specific industries. So we provide high-value, well-trained existing label data for customers to work on, especially in financial services and government. So from a go-to-market at the time, we thought of getting in a focus with a specific industry so we can provide an existing experience to clients to depend on, especially for multi-dialects. And then later, generative AI had helped us a lot in providing this today with several clients and regions.
Great. Ahmed, like, do you have anything maybe from the technology perspective you can share regarding the multi-dialect aspect specifically?
Yeah, generative AI, the large language models, the frontier ones, was really a great help to get this done in a more intelligent way. Honestly, it was a big hike in performance. And even when we built our own small language model, we were able to train it on label data sets for different dialects with less cost than companies used to do with legacy technology. So yeah, generative AI actually opened the doors for getting the dialect thing right in the region.
Great. Now, I want to ask you something which is maybe just to remove, I would say, some confusions. So data analysis is changing and it's evolving. Like, people talks about knowledge mining, right? So do you agree with this? And this question for both of you. And like, how the data analysis actually is being reshaped currently with all the LLMs and the additional technologies that we are seeing also blended with the LLM space itself.
Yeah, sure. I will give a lot of room for Shahawi for this. It's a more technological
Sure.
thing. I would mention we were working and delivering knowledge mining in 2020. And we were seeing that this is happening, maybe because we don't have access to the massive compute, massive resources, I would say, that the Silicon Valley companies would have. But we see that this is a solution for several problems. For example, the one I mentioned in financial services, we didn't provide a normal conversational AI. We provided a knowledge mining solution because you need a machine to understand the stocks market and ability to understand Egyptian person or a Lebanese person who talks about the stock with a name that never been mentioned in this. So it was there in companies' DNA years ago. What happened even after with the generative AI, it made this even easier and gave us a lot of power to provide such components platform that we already have into a greater and faster results. So, but knowledge mining is something we have in DNA a long time ago. I'm
Great.
completely agree with that.
Yeah, Ahmed, you want to add something on that?
Yeah, I think the matter of having the enterprise data, whether it's in like an ERP system or like knowledge management platform, SharePoint or whatsoever, or documents, or even on a portal website, and combining databases with systems and files and documents as one repository to get your information right is really something that wasn't applicable before generative AI, except in very like limited way, I would say. So just asking like an inquiry about certain performance metric that combines the data from database and from your ERP system and from a policy document and get an answer right to the user with a visualized chart, for example. This was impossible for generative AI. So when we blend the sources of information in the index or the knowledge graph mechanism and other in this mechanism to represent the real data in a well-structured way using generative AI, it just opened the doors to different use cases that blends different technology aspects together. And it was all about the accuracy and reliability of this system because it's really easy to get a small POC working, but to get it working right on a large scale for enterprise grade, that was a completely different monster.
Right. And I always tell people, because we're mentioning a lot, the GPT moment, and to me, it looks like it's opened doors, as you said, Ahmed. Like, it opened doors for a lot of use cases. And I always joke with some of my friends. I said, like, that is the moment when the genie went out of the bottle. So once it was like people were a little bit stuck. What can we do? Like, how we can do this using different AI technologies, and then the GPT model came out, and it changed everything. Now, uh, I'm a technology enthusiast by since long time, since my childhood, but not, I like sometimes to play the other role. So some people, still they have, I would call them concerns. Sometimes they are like a little bit, these people who like naysayers, as they call them, right? Who would tell you the bunch of the things that they heard or maybe they saw about AI. And I won't now maybe, I'm combining both together because I think they are somehow related. So the first thing is about, like, yeah, these LLMs, they're not reliable, they can hallucinate. Like, even RAG is not the solution for that. So what's your take on that? And I know, like, now the large language models are coming like so large that actually you don't need to go back and forth a lot with them. And the second thing is regarding the security. Hey, like, I am very, let's say, highly regulated. I would not allow, data to go outside. I need to make sure that, I have the privacy and all my data within. So, what you would say to people who might come with these objections? And Ahmed, both of you, like, feel free from maybe business perspective and technology perspective to answer. So Ahmed, I will start with you.
Yeah, sure. Again, it's a more technical part that CTO I would say, should contribute more. But from business perspective, we understand that those are problems that actually we work to fix and resolve and focus on with Orchestra. So generative AI had come with a great, I would say, potential, but also had created a lot of, I would say, noise where everyone can do anything and you cannot really get into what really worked for me as a customer. So we didn't want just to get into generative AI. We actually took a pause and started to study what the problems that customers were getting into. Thank you for mentioning these are 2 out of 4 main problems as a business. What we decided that this is the direction for the company to resolve for businesses to help them adopt generative AI. So we provide our solutions in complete offline mode, where customers can get the benefits of our AI agents completely on the data centers if they are highly regulated, or even hybrid if they have some scenarios that can be outside or some scenarios that should stay in. From hallucinations, yeah, they exist and they will always happen. And that's why we had a lot of emphasis in our product to work on accuracy measurement and accuracy optimization to provide a more robust and, I would say, confident launch to our clients. But Chawi can, I would say, shed more light on this.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I think the concern from the naysayers is at 100% valid, and yeah, that's the main focus of the company, that we are tackling these kind of problems. I would say that the threshold comes always whether this hallucination rate is acceptable from business point of view or no, comparable to the error rate that comes from the human error factor as well or no. The level of sensitivity of the use case also is a factor there, and highly sensitive use cases are typically supervised and not fully automated. At least that's the boundary of the technology as per the technology advancement today. Quite sure this will be more reliable as well in the future, but reaching 95-97% accuracy in many use cases is acceptable in most use cases, especially if it was supervised, and still brings business value and ROI, like tremendous business value and ROI. So the challenge of the hallucination was very predominant in the early days, and it's still predominant when you go to smaller models for cost efficiency or for regulatory requirements, like you want to run your own model in your enterprise in air gap environment. So you'll be cost conscious, and you cannot host like the huge LLMs, even the open source ones. So hallucination rates becomes a problem. And actually, what we focus on to get this done right is several aspects. And one of them is retrieval augmented generation. This is like the go-to design pattern for most of the use cases that we have worked with. And it works really well in most of the scenarios. But if you nail it down in the proper way, and the key element to get the RAG, retrieval augmented generation, working right is the data representation layer. So if you get the data presented without ambiguity, and you have a decent and a smart search system to get the proper data and curate the data in a proper way, using different technologies, indexing technologies, to the large language model, which is fine-tuned to a special use cases as well, then you close the gap of accuracy. So search and data curation and the large language model performance itself are all optimized for certain use cases. So you get the accuracy mark to the highest that it can be. And when we started in the early days, just getting the simple use case to work, right, it was like impossible to get this done without automated evaluation for the performance of the model. And that was the early investment that we did before even going into the advanced use cases, because the thing that you cannot measure, you cannot advance it. So we built a very sophisticated evaluation system that we can measure the advancement that we do with the accuracy enhancement that we do. And we built upon this to have even offline small language models performing with very high accuracy, because we are able to evaluate it automatically and rapidly and apply different optimization mechanism until you reach the acceptable point. So definitely, yes, it is a concern, but it's getting better and better every day. Whether open source models, reasoning models like DeepSeek, we have all seen the advancement did by DeepSeek on a technology and cost point of view. Every day we get this better, so it's going to reach a very acceptable mark, I would say.
Yeah, it's getting better and better, and they're very fast paced also as well. To your point, Ahmed, like because I think when ChatGPT they put the website live, and I remember that was November 2023, and just I look now like we are just April 2025 by the time we are recording this episode, and people they had high expectations like the technology should work out because but the amount of time spent to fix all the issues we saw at the beginning, I think it's like a record because, and this is just my 2 cents over there. And yeah, to your point, like things are getting even better and better. Now, one thing, and I gotta keep like the discussion like fast this time with you both. Agentic AI, so everything agents, everyone is talking about that. So, from your perspective, how do you envision this? With what you do at DXwand?
Well, I understand it's a hype word. I would just one thing I would say here is focus on real problems to be solved that really requires autonomous software, whatever we name it, agentic, whatever, that is really needed for that. So this is what we are focused on, and this is what I believe the world should focus on, not just getting this brightening.
Yeah, Ahmed, as a CTO, like how do you know, see this
Yeah.
hype? Some people they say hype, some people they say no, this is the future. So, as a technologist, how do you see it?
Yeah, actually, I would say that the agents is definitely has a strong mark in the technology and in the industry. But like Ahmed said, right, whether your use case requires an agentic behavior or not, this is very subjective. And beyond the buzz, right, it's many use cases doesn't require this, but it's the same thing that happened with the spike of the generative AI in the beginning. It just opened the door for different use cases we can have like collaborative reasoning between different agents to provide a level of reasoning and use cases intelligence that is not possible to do it without the agentic framework.
Absolutely. And you know what I tell people sometimes, like guys, think about it. Automation has been with us for a long time. So actually, you're trying to give this autonomy to the agent once it trigger an action, it receive the result or the feedback to go and do the other action. So you have like kind of like autonomy plus automation, I would say. Like it can self-decide which route to go. But again, it's powered by automation, which has been with us for a long time. Like even before the chat GPT start to appear, I was also telling people about like how they can automate tasks and use these automation tools available everywhere. Yeah, but actually accelerated, I would say, the adoption, which is good. Like it's good for all of us as businesses and also for companies like yours as well. What is next for the X1? Like what something exciting you can both of you share with us?
Well, back to where we started. So maybe at the time when we started, working with smaller businesses wasn't maybe the right time. Maybe we still didn't crack how to work with this ICP. But today, with the ability, with the abilities of technology, with our access to resources, we also started to see how we can empower small businesses to reach that in a very economical way, which we found the formula for. So I would say, yeah, we're back to where we started, but with a better proposition.
Any plans for expansions, Ahmed?
Yeah, so we're expanding in From geographics, we started to examine expansion in US and in UK. We already have some resellers and system integrators that are helping that. On that, it's a very big, noisy market. That's why we're very niche on the industries we're examining. The second part is expanding our customer base from just enterprises into mid-market as well. So we're getting into the mid-market, and we identified several problems that we can resolve with, and we started to add and expand into that segment as well. And this is something we're launching very soon. Actually, the first time we talk about it, this is something we're launching in next week, I guess. Shall we, right? Next.
Yeah.
Talk about
He
shipping.
said, yeah. Okay, we had an evidence.
In this draw.
All right, not before us.
So, Ahmed, like, yeah. So you have now it's recorded. I'm just joking. From technology aspects, Ahmed, like as a CTO, of course we talked a lot AI, but like what are other, I would say, emerging technologies that also you're excited about that might, first be beneficial for the company, for DXwand, and in general, like something which you are excited about what you're seeing in the market today?
Yeah, I would say that the AI technology is we have a long wave adoption just to get the ROI of the existing technologies, even the early wave of the technology, before actually envisioning new stuff. And this, I think, one of the pitfalls of many startups who keep looking for just the next shining objects without realizing the full benefits of what you have in hand. So we decided to be ultra focused on the agentic capabilities with document intelligence and knowledge mining. But the next focus area that we are, like Ahmed said, is to get this to a self-serve mechanism that even mid-market and medium-sized companies, business users can have the advancement of these technologies without getting into much of the technical details.
Great. Now, the final thing I want to ask, and feel free, both of you, you can answer. So, being a company, and Ahmed, you started this 2017, right? So you started.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, yeah, and I know, matter of fact, because I witnessed, I tried myself. Starting, especially in our region, is not something easy, right? So, but what I want you to share, like maybe something that can, I would say, inspire fellow people who want or they are dreaming of starting. And by the way, some people, they get me wrong. I'm not against consumer businesses, but I would love to see more companies like yours, being started and, scaling. So what can you share about this journey that maybe one of our audience or maybe someone who might discover us, speaking about this in the MENA region, in the emerging markets on the, more wide coverage that might benefit. So what you can share, Ahmed?
Okay, inspiring people is not easy.
I know.
So, okay, in 2017, actually 2018, when I decided to resign, I was in a sales honeymoon with Microsoft. I had 200% attainment on my sales. It wasn't a sales organization. I had no problem. The only thing is, I just felt it's not right. This is not what I want to do. And what I can tell everyone that he might be inspired, I went through a hell, really.
That's
And
really inspiring.
yeah, very inspiring. But guess what? If I go back, and I never go back to anything, but if I would go back knowing what I went through, I will still do it. Because if you really have this call that you want to do something impactful and you know what you want to do, then this is where you should be. And I'm a father of 5 children. It wasn't like someone just got graduated and I don't have a lot of responsibilities and yeah, no much risks. No, I had a lot of risks. But I'm telling you, if I go back 7 years, I would do it again, knowing what the hell I'm going into. And today I expect a lot of more help. But the good thing is, it's not about just getting into an exit. which everyone as an entrepreneur dreams about. But really, and it's not a cliche statement, but the journey that I went through is a great learning that I'm really proud of. And not proud of myself, but proud of everything I went through. And that's what you would really get, and you would never get anywhere else.
That's inspiring, and you should be proud, Ahmed. But I want to hear from Ahmed, leading tech teams in MENA region, and because it's a team game, right? So, um, and you need also to put this into the people you work with, you lead. So, from your perspective, Ahmed, like reaching, this stage, um, and encouraging more people in tech to take the same, I would say, steps of going out and start building things that can change people's lives. So what you can share.
Yeah, I would say that I was lucky to get in touch and work with an, and a wonderful team that they were really hungry for doing great stuff, and not of the type of standard employees, 9 to 5 employees, which is not bad. That's fine. But most of the team in DXwand are really different kind of people. They just every time um, they don't fail to inspire me actually how to get things done beyond my expectations. And I would say that believing in your team in a very pragmatic way, not like just pure belief, but with some sort of evidence that the most effective team members can show, is the most inspiring thing that helps you to build new stuff and makes your work fulfilling and makes your life easier to get things done in a different way. I will say that keeping this spirit of innovation, always keeping, while being 100% business driven, but keeping the level of innovation and novelty in your team to drive like passion and contribution in the product and technology uh, uh, roadmap is always going to get people to ramp up their skills and reach a level that you had never dreamed of initially. And I believe we have actually over the last few years built an amazing, wonderful skill set in the team that they are really, really inspired and passionate of building stuff in DXwand.
Both of you, you shared a lot of it. Really, really, it's inspiring, and it's not like, it's not I'm making fun, of course, of it. It's really inspiring. And what I liked, Ahmed, when you mentioned like about going back and starting it again, and I think this is, one of the traits of entrepreneurs, like to accept that there will be, I would say, challenges, there will be some obstacles down the road, and, keep trying and never failing, which I always tell people, maybe one of the things that we need to encourage people to fail more. We need to encourage people to face obstacles. We need to, not on purpose, of course, but we need to let people hit walls sometimes and, test this, because it's not all the, and I loved when you said, like, yeah, like I had this 200% attainment, and, life was, all rose and everything was fine, but it's the call inside you to go and build something. And to do this, you need like the courage, and you need also the ecosystem. And I think you contributed in showing, let's say the younger generation that this is doable. I'm very positive that, we gotta make it like even more easier for them over time, because it's still very hard. Let's admit it. And again, from technology perspective, Ahmed, same, what I have the same thoughts that, with this passion about building something that, yeah, like, look, I built this and people are using it, right? And it's like a piece of technology that we all together put, and then see how it's affecting people's lives. So really, this is inspiring for me. Before we do the final closing, where, guys, can people get in touch with you?
I'm very much active in LinkedIn. which is not the most for the new generation, but yeah, this is where I exist more. I spend more time.
Yeah, and Ahmed, you also, I believe, on LinkedIn.
I accept all invitations, everyone.
Yeah, LinkedIn is the main channel, and definitely feel free to connect. Be
Yeah, sure. And if someone interested, you can go to the website, DXwand.com. I'm going to put that in the show notes. So both Ahmeds, thank you very, very much, for being here with me today. I really enjoyed the conversation. I love to hear, these inspiring stories. I love to see, the technology. And again, guys in the B2C space, don't get me wrong. I love to have you also on the podcast, but I'm a B2B guy, I would say. This is why, I get excited when I talk to people who are working in B2B tech and building things from scratch. But yeah, don't get me wrong, go build things in B2C space also as well. So, the conversation was really inspiring, I would say, and beneficial, in my opinion, for a lot of people in the region and abroad, I would say. And good luck, in the expansions, whether on the vertical perspective or geography perspective, I would say. And as I said, the website, the links to both Ahmed's LinkedIn profile will be in the show notes. And this is how usually I end my podcast episode. This is for the audience. If you just discovered this podcast, thank you for passing by. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did so, please don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends and colleagues. And if you are one of the people who keeps coming again and again, thank you for doing so, because of all your supports, because of all what you do, and, encouraging me to keep this podcast. So the podcast, and this is important for me, it's about, keeping it alive. So it's now trending in multiple countries, top 200 charts simultaneously this year, which is something that didn't happen in the past 2 years since I started. So thank you very much. And also, we've been selected as one of the top 40 podcasts, most listened business podcasts in Dubai. Today, and for the sake of transparency, we are recording 15th of April. I just received that the podcast was chosen as one of the top 100 globally podcasts talking about future technology. So thank you again for mentioning us and telling people about my podcast. And as I say, always stay tuned for a new episode very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hit that subscribe button, share the show with your tech-savvy friends and fellow entrepreneurs, and leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. Your support means the world to us.